You ever wonder what makes a story really stick with you? You know, that one movie or that book, or even just the simple story someone told you that you just can't shake? It feels a little bit like magic, right? Well, it's not. There's actually a blueprint behind it all. And today, we're going to pull back that curtain and see exactly how it works. So, yeah, what is it? What's the secret sauce that makes a story truly unforgettable? Well, it's a craft. It's built on a set of universal principles that tap into something really deep inside all of us. And trust me, once you see the architecture, you are going to see it everywhere. All right, so every great story, I'm talking everything from a huge Hollywood blockbuster to a little 30-second ad, is powered by one single fundamental element. This is the engine that makes the whole thing go. And it all comes down to this simple phrase: no conflict, no story. It's the absolute heartbeat of any narrative. Without some kind of struggle, you don't have a story. You just have a list of things that happened. You know, he went to the store, then he came home. Who cares, right? But if he went to the store because his family was starving and that store was guarded by a dragon, well, now we've got a story. So, conflict is basically the tension that grabs our attention, and it can take a few different forms. It can be a mental struggle, a character battling their own self-doubt. It can be physical, a hero fighting some big external baddie. Or it can even be spiritual, like a crisis of faith. This struggle is what forces a character to change, and that change, that's what we're all here to see. Okay, so if conflict is the engine of the story, how do we actually build the car? Well, for that, we turn to the most ancient and, honestly, the most reliable map for any narrative journey: the good old three-act structure. It's so effective because it just mirrors how we humans naturally solve problems. We see the issue, we struggle with it, and then hopefully we find a resolution. Act 1 is all about the setup. This is where we meet our hero in their normal, everyday world. We get to know who they are, what they care about, and then bam, something happens. It's called the inciting incident, and it completely shatters their normal life and gives them a big problem, or a choice. This is where we find out exactly what's at stake. Then we hit Act 2, the confrontation. And this is the real meat of the adventure. It's the longest part of the story for a reason. This is where our hero is trying to solve the problem, but just keeps hitting obstacle after obstacle. The challenges get harder, the stakes get way higher, and yeah, they often fail. This is where we, the audience, really start to care. We see them struggle, and that's what makes us root for them. And finally, we get to Act 3, the resolution. Everything that's happened leads to this one single high-stakes moment, the climax. And here, the hero has to make a huge, often sacrificial decision that's going to decide the whole outcome. The conflict gets resolved, and they step into a new world, a new reality, forever changed by what they went through. But look, a perfect map is totally useless without a compelling traveler, right? A flawless plot doesn't mean a thing if we don't care about the person at the center of it all. So that brings us to the hero's inner world, because at the end of the day, character is everything. Really great characters are almost always defined by this tension between what they want and what they truly need. The want is their external goal, right? The thing that drives the plot forward: find the treasure, win the big game. But the need, that's the deeper, internal lesson they have to learn, and often they don't even know they need it. Maybe the real goal isn't finding the treasure. It's discovering they were courageous all along. That journey from want to need, that's the soul of a character's transformation. So how do we connect with these characters so fast? Well, it's because we often recognize them instantly. They fit into these universal patterns called archetypes. Think of them as familiar roles that just resonate with us on a deep, almost subconscious level. I mean, think about it. You've got the hero who inspires us to be brave, the mentor who helps us make sense of things, the ruler who wants control. We see these labels and we instantly get what their job is in the story. It's like a narrative shortcut. But here's where it gets really, really interesting. No character is just one thing. Every single hero, every archetype, has a shadow side, a hidden part of them that they try to deny or push down. This is where true complexity comes from. The shadow self. It's all the parts of us we'd rather not look at. For that courageous hero, the shadow is the coward hiding inside. For the just ruler, it's that lurking tyrant. The most powerful stories show us that the real battle isn't just fighting some bad guy out there. It's about confronting this inner demon. And this is so often how past pain and trauma really shape a narrative. That shadow is usually born from some old wound, and the hero's journey is really about them learning how to face that pain to become whole. So, the 3x structure gives us a pretty clear linear path from point A to point B. But not all stories feel like a straight line, do they? Some feel more circular, more like a cycle of leaving home and coming back again. So, let's look at a different kind of map that really captures that feeling. This is Dan Herman's story circle, and it breaks the journey down into 8 simple steps. You'll probably notice it has a lot in common with the 3-act structure. It's just looking at it through a different lens. You start in your comfort zone, but you realize you need something. So you go into the unknown, where you search and face all your trials. That's basically your Act 2. You find what you were looking for, but you have to take it, and that usually comes with a heavy price. Finally, you return to where you started, but you are fundamentally changed. It's such a powerful way to frame any story, big or small. So, as you can see, these incredible stories we love aren't just random acts of genius. They are carefully constructed blueprints. They're built on these powerful, predictable patterns of conflict, structure, and a really deep psychological understanding of what it means to be a person who wants something, needs something, and struggles with their own shadow. And that brings us to the most important point of all. These blueprints, they aren't just for fiction. They're basically maps of the human experience. We all live out these patterns. So I'll just leave you with this question. What's the external want that's driving your story right now? And maybe more importantly, what's the deeper internal need that your journey is really asking you to find?